The more we learn about the COVID-19 vaccine, the more obvious it becomes to me that using it must be a personal choice. I say this, by the way, as someone with an appreciation of experimental science and a healthy appetite for medical risk. And as a result of that, I've taken the decision to be jabbed. But that was my decision to make, weighing up my personal health profile with the potential side effects. The UK government today admitted it was investigating the risk the vaccine presents to children. But my fear is that still won't deter those in power trying to take your choice away from you, and perhaps eventually from your children. This is despite the admittedly low risk of blood clots from the AstraZeneca jab and the potential increased risk of heart attacks from mRNA jabs, as reported by GBNews, but ignored by much of the media.
Scientists believe they've found the trigger that causes rare blood clots after the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine. An international team from Cardiff and the US thinks it now understands how the vaccine can sometimes cause a chain reaction in the immune system.
From 11% at 5 years, risk of heart attack, to 25%. Now, that's a huge increase. If this is true, then it's very concerning indeed. But in medicine, in good science, we never rely on one study. We need to replicate these findings.
Now, I repeat, I have made the decision to be injected. But I respect those who don't, especially parents who don't want to vaccinate their children who have virtually no risk of becoming seriously ill from COVID. That's not how the media and those in power feel about it, as illustrated by 3 extraordinary interventions today. European Union chief Ursula von der Leyen had the gall to suggest the sick compulsory vaccine law of Austria should be rolled out throughout EU member states. To hell with the consequences to human rights.
Therefore, I think it is understandable and appropriate to lead this discussion now, how we can encourage and potentially think about mandatory vaccination within the European Union.
Germany, already heading in that direction. Today, they decided to exclude the unvaccinated from shops and leisure venues. And it continues this disturbing march towards compulsory vaccines. Meanwhile, back here, LBC's usually brilliant Nick Ferrari, a man who I have great respect for, caused outrage after suggesting Brits who choose not to be vaccinated should be fined.
If it takes time now, the time to fine people, great. Let's start. Let's never go with €100. Make it £100, right? And it starts. And I tell you what, it's not 60, but let's make it 40 and above, starting on Monday. OK? Now, if we come round, knock on the door, and you can show on your phone, or you've got a letter or something, you've got an appointment, that's fine. But if you willfully oppose now, you're 40 and above, £100 fine in December, £100 fine in January, £200 in February, £300 in March. By the end of the year, you'll be spending about £1,000, and that might cut through your ignorance. Well, it's an idea, isn't it? I don't know what you think.
Surely that's not the British way, Nick. I think one of the fundamental planks of a free democracy is the right to make independent choices about what goes in our bodies. Today, we learned that the government has signed a deal with the mRNA vaccine companies Pfizer and Moderna for a further 115 million doses that will likely see a 4th jab and potentially further boosters across 2022 and 2023. That means we've now secured 453.5 million COVID vaccine doses total, which could see the entire population vaccinated 6 times over. Now, maybe this is a great thing, but it is a long way from the 15 million jabs to freedom we were promised in January. It's even further from the message that being double jabbed will secure the end of lockdowns and return all your personal freedoms. Are we now being asked to be jabbed every 3 to 6 months for the next 2 years? Or is this going to become a regular part of life forevermore, as the chief executive of Pfizer suggested to the BBC today? And does it really matter anyway if most of the developing world, especially the vulnerable, remain unvaccinated? I think it's time for the government to offer us some clear and honest messaging about their plans. Level with us about the future of the vaccine programme. But above anything else, assure us categorically that those who make the difficult personal choice to turn down the vaccine, stick to 2 jabs or refuse the injection for their children are not going to be shunned from society or penalised financially. That would start rebuilding trust with the vaccine hesitant, who are the folk the government want to win over most.